Embracing uncertainty. I can tell you that if you would have took a time machine back and talked to me about whether or not I would be on a stage talking about embracing uncertainty when I was in high school, I would have looked at you like you had a horn growing out of your head. I remember in 10th grade, there was a Christmas choir concert, and I was part of a trio that was going to sing, but I just couldn't get this harmony. It didn't feel right, and I, at the time, couldn't read music well enough to figure it out myself. Like, I knew the notes, and I could play it on the piano, but it just didn't work. And I stepped out and made sure that I was not on stage embracing any of that uncertainty and dealing with any of that embarrassment. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Robert Heath Sr., and I am a recovering perfectionist. Do I have any fellow brothers and sisters in the audience? All right. And so when I look at the idea or the conversation of embracing uncertainty, it's crazy that I'm here today talking to you all about it. But there were two things that happened in my life that made it so that I had to really re-examine my stance on being safe and not dealing with uncertainty, right? Because uncertainty it's unsafe. It's dangerous. It's the unknown. Can it be a little bit scary? Right? Well, when I decided that I wanted to be the best person that I could be, and that I wanted to help other people be the best that they could be, the journey that I went on to understand human performance and how to maximize human potential, it taught me some things about uncertainty, not the least of which is that embracing uncertainty is one of the keys to becoming our best selves. And then that made me realize that I had to figure out how to embrace uncertainty. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. And one of the things that I've found in the over 30 years now that I've been studying human performance is that bravery and creating brave spaces is one of the best ways for us to be able to embrace that uncertainty, to build connection with one another, and to become our best selves. So I want to ask you a question today. What if I was to tell you that by embracing uncertainty with something as simple as a head nod, you could change the world? Sounds impossible, doesn't it? Well, I'm here today to prove to you that it's not. Now, in order to do so, I'm going to introduce you to a couple of people who have been tremendously impactful in my life. The first one I'm pretty sure that most of you all know about, Abraham Maslow. Anybody ever seen this before? Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Well, one of the key things about this from safety to bravery that I learned from Maslow is that there are certain survival needs that are extremely important that we need to take care of, but they're not necessarily sufficient to just focus on those needs if we want to be our best selves. There's another gentleman by the name of Dr. Milton Erickson, who is a founding father of American psychology and hypnotherapy. And one of the things that Dr. Erickson brought us was an understanding of the intention and the power of alignment. As a matter of fact, Dr. Erickson felt that much of the mental distress as well as our self-sabotaging behaviors can be tracked back to a misalignment between our conscious minds and our subconscious minds, and our inability to get those back into alignment. And what I've learned over my time as a teacher, as a lawyer, as a Marine Corps officer, as well as a business consultant, helping thousands of people to figure out how to live their best lives, be their best selves, is that when you can align your purpose, your identity, and your activity, some amazing things can happen. Now, I'm not just saying it because, right, I read it in books. I'm standing here before you today as a testament to the power of embracing uncertainty. I've been a martial artist. I've been a national champion. I've run a marathon. I made it through the Marine Corps officer training program as somebody who hates running and wasn't the strongest growing up. But because I embraced uncertainty, I am able to now help others. And what I want to talk to you about today are some of the things that have kept us from being able to embrace uncertainty, how we can actually get ourselves in alignment so that our purpose, our identity, and our activity line up, and how it doesn't have to be huge actions that you do that can train that bravery muscle in you. And in doing just the small actions, you can actually change the world. Is everybody ready to go on this trip with me? All right. So a couple of things that we have to understand as we go on this road. I told you a little bit about how important how important bravery was in this journey, and how important it is for us to make sure that we are creating brave spaces. Now, I also told you how important safe spaces were to me when I was growing up. And safe spaces, the definition that I got from the Oxford Languages Dictionary, is a place or environment in which a person or category of people can feel confident that they will not be exposed to discrimination, criticism, harassment, or any other emotional or physical harm. This was what I loved. What? There's no risk? There's no danger? Yes, sign me up. But what I also realized was safe spaces don't exist in real life. Places where you won't be exposed to any risk or any harm are not places where you're actually interacting with people. And so what the over 40 years that we've been really focused on creating safe spaces has done to us is it's made us more anxious, more hypervigilant, more depressed, more isolated, more overwhelmed, and more lonely. As a matter of fact, the Surgeon General of the United States actually talked about the epidemic of loneliness and how loneliness has negative effects on our existence, on our health outcomes that are equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. We have more opportunity to connect than we've ever had before in the history of the world, but we're connecting less. Right? How many of you all can remember when you used to have to call long distance and watch your minutes? Otherwise, you had a huge bill, right? Now, we can literally see people face to face on the other side of the world, but we're less connected than we were 40 years ago. And that's because our focus on safe spaces creates two different problems with us being able to be in alignment with our purpose, our identity, and our activity. Number one, a focus on safe spaces forces us to be inauthentic or be lonely. You see, I know that I have some prickly parts of my personality. And if I care about safe spaces, I won't bring me to the group. I'll bring my representative so that I can make sure that I keep the space safe for all of you, right? If I do bring me, I have to worry about whether or not you're going to accept me. And let's be honest, it's just safer to be by yourself where you can let it all hang out, isn't it? But here's the problem. We are built for connection. People without belonging struggle. As a matter of fact, think about it. In prisons, when we want to punish unruly prisoners, what do we do to them? Solitary confinement. Isolation is a punishment. It's not a way for us to be our best selves. And if we're trying to live the life that we are supposed to live and be the person that we were born to be, isolation is not the way. The other thing that focuses on safety does is it creates an identity of helplessness within us. Because here's the reality. I know that as long as we are all in agreement that this is a safe space, it's safe. But all it takes is for one of you to decide that you don't want to make it safe for me anymore. And guess what? I'm no longer in a safe space. I'm helpless to impact my reality. My identity becomes one that is dependent on everybody else agreeing, and I have no agency. And with an identity of helplessness, we can't really have true self-esteem. We can't really see ourselves as agents and actors in the world, as able to change the world, as able to do and be our best selves. You see, focusing on safety it definitely takes care of the bottom rung, that survival need of bodily safety. But there's another type of safety that our focus on safe spaces doesn't address. It doesn't address it adequately, and that's the need for belonging, the need for connection. Now, belonging is the feeling of security and support when there's a sense of acceptance, inclusion, and identity of a member in a certain group. Now, here's the interesting thing. Psychological safety is the safety of the mind, whereas physical safety is the safety of the body. What we've done in our focus on safe spaces is that we have not paid attention to the fact that while they're necessary, they're not sufficient for us to be our best selves. What we need is safety and connection. So, Rob, why don't we just do safe spaces with connection and belonging? I'm glad you asked. Here's the funny thing. Safety and connection are actually like oil and water. They don't go together, because remember what I told you before? In order to get connection, what do you need? Other people. And other people are risky. And so if we continue to have an identity where we need to be safe, we'll avoid people, but we need to be connected. So how do we fix it? We have to change our identity. That guy looks good, doesn't he? And what do we need to change our identity to? We need to change our identity to an identity of bravery. You see, one of the interesting things about identity is that identity is not just about what other people see you as, but it's also about what you see yourself as. And the cool part about identity is that identity has the power, a shift in your identity has the power to actually expose you to different opportunities, to different options for connection that you would not have seen before when you had the helpless identity. And more importantly, when we're able to change our identity to an identity of bravery, our change not only impacts us, it impacts others. A brave person is not someone who is not scared. A brave person is someone who says, yes, I'm scared, but I'll do it anyway. I want to read something to you because I believe that Marianne Williamson put it better than I ever could. In her writing A Course on Miracles, she had this poem that you've probably heard quoted before called Our Deepest Fear. And it says this: our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, fabulous, gorgeous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people don't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And here's the key. When you let your light shine, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same. When you are liberated from your fears, your mere presence automatically liberates others. You see, the cool part about adopting a brave identity is that just by being you, you begin to change the world around you and create what I like to call a brave space, which is a space where courage and compassion turn conflict into clarity, connection, and collaboration. So you remember at the beginning of this talk, I told you about how you don't have to do big, huge overtures of bravery. You don't have to go out and storm the castle. That's not necessary. Something as simple as a head nod can change the world. Well, we're about to see it in action because I can show you better than I can tell you all day long. So here's the 3 components of the head nod that I want you all to embark on. First thing with a head nod is that it starts with locking eyes, seeing the person. And then, of course, there's the nod of acknowledgement and a smile and just sitting there for a little bit to let the connection continue. Y'all think y'all can do that? All right. Well, if you do, if you don't, it's all right. Confucius once said, the person that thinks that they can and the person that thinks that they can't are both right. We're going to get a chance to do it, though, because I want to show you today that you can do this. You can take it with you and make this happen. So what I want you to do is look around the room, find somebody that you're not sitting next to that you don't know, and remember, 55% of our communication is nonverbal, so there's no need for you to talk. For those non-math majors out there, that's more than half, right? There's no need to talk, but I want you to find someone to lock eyes with. Look around the room, find someone, give them the eye, catch their eye, make sure that you see them, they see you, give them the nod, and sit there and let that connection take place. Let's go. Yeah. Can you feel how the energy in the room shifted just a little bit? Yeah. That's the power of connection. That's the power of aligning our activity with our identity and our purpose. You see, the key thing about the head nod is that, number one, your purpose, which is to be the best you can be, was helped by your identity, which was being brave. You had to do it. You couldn't just sit there and wait for somebody to come to you. That small little action reinforced in you that you can do hard things, that even though it was a little bit uncomfortable at first, you can make it happen. And then you communicated. You actually said a bunch of stuff to someone. Remember 55%? You said things like, I see you, you matter, you belong, and you are safe with me. And that other person felt it. You connected. And in that connection, you also helped them to see themselves differently. So see, just with a head nod, you can change the world. Now that you have this power, what are we going to do with it? Well, the great Dr. Martin Luther King said that life's most urgent and persistent question is, what can we do for others? And I want you to leave this auditorium knowing that what you can do is simply be you. Continue to be brave, my friends, and build connection everywhere you go. Thank you.